Hello everyone. Today we go back with Unit 18, and this is the final bit of the learning objective 1. We're going to study what is the benefits and the disadvantages of going globalization. Um, you can see the first things here is about internationalization and localization and why it is so important. You can see here as we go global, there would be more products on over the world, and people will have more chances to have a better demands in the taste of the product. At the same time, it could bring some kind of threat for the localizations, especially for the country. If you're good at producing something, and then there are going to be international competitors coming to the country, and then you increase the competitions. In business, of course, the competitions are the good factors because it stimulates the buying demands and also the selling demand from both company, and it is helping the companies in general to keep going for the good things and to improve their products and services so that they satisfy the higher demand of the customer. However, with the competitions going global like this, the nations that hold the globalization to open, then they need to have some strategy to control that going global but still acting local. Okay, so internalization in the way that people will removing the hardcore taxes and attach, like kind of attached to more international rules, and you will be standardize yourselves to meet the international standard. And then with localization, you need to save some of the aspect for your areas, for the people in your country, so that they still remain the competitiveness among the parties. Okay, so the benefits of it is solve the economic problems. So you can see globalizations happen. That means more jobs and more capital will be invested in your country, which increase the capacity of employment and also the use of the resource from the foreigners. It give the rich country access to lower cost resources and labor, and also at the same time helping the poorer country access to the job and get the funding that they need for development. You can reflect back in a lot of African country where they got a lot of investment from the foreign country, this providing more jobs for people. And you can relate that to the, for example, iPhone. The market of productions is in China, where they all do all the production lines in China. However, demand companies in America because they know that they can access to lower labor. At the same time, they provide job for the people in China. Next thing is promote the free trade. So globalization put the pressure on the nations to reduce the tariff, which is the taxes, and subsidize and other barriers for free trade. So this will result in remote economic growth, create jobs, and make company become more competitive with lower price for the consumer. So both will have the benefit. The spurt of economic development is the next one. So theoretically, globalizations give poorer country access to foreign capital and technology, and foreign investment can result in the improved standard of living for the citizens of the nation. And then you got the encouragement of positive change through the rights and the environment. So this will advocate the globalization point to improve the attention to human rights on the global scale and share the understanding of the impact of people and production on the environment. And you can, have heard about free trade. Uh, Organizations participate in free trade union. They can benefit a lot, especially the farmers who produce the local ones. Usually they are oppressed by the price of big organization, but if they participate in free trade, then they can have the eligible price for their product when they sell that to the big company, and they are protected with that standardized price. You can relate it to big branches like Starbucks or the local branches like honey or coffee beans or rice, things like that. Next one we have is like promote share cultural understanding. With globalization, we now see people from all over the world especially when you reflect in the UK context. We have people from Pakistan, we have people from Romania, and people from everywhere in the world, and we work in the same country, and we work with different culture. And so, in the same way, we learn from each other, and we, at the same time, benefit from a lot from the culture perspective, like the way of people dressing, or the cuisine of that country, or even you have interesting friendship. For business side is about promoting yourself in different country, about working with different talents from different countries, so that is benefit your business in the same time. And of course, there would be some negative consequences of globalizations. So the first thing is destabilize the market. So the critics about globalization blamed the eliminations of trade barriers and freer movement of people and undermining national policy and local cultures. That means sometimes you open too much, you kind of losing your control away because you are adopting, but you don't know the boundary of it. So the country need to go global, but at the same act local because there are some culture and custom that should be protected. Labor market in particular are affected when people move across border in search of higher paying for job, companies outsource work, and jobs to lower the cost labor market. Another thing you have to think is the environment. So some developed countries, they go to poorer countries so that they can invest like manufacturing, sweatshops and things like that. And they release a huge amount of toxic chemicals to the rivers, or they can release some kind of fumes into the environment, to the air. So it's harmful for the environment of the local people. And the transport of goods and people among the nation generates higher greenhouse gas and the negative effects on the environment. That's the reason why we need to consider about how industrialization need to be hampered and how we can create like local benefit with lower carbon dioxide things released in the environment. Other thing is about lowering living standards. So when company moved operation overseas to minimize costs, such move can eliminate the jobs and increase unemployment in the home country. Okay, so sometimes you move and invest too much outside and you forgot to consider about the benefits of the people in your country. That could be the result. Facilitate the global recessions. So tightly integrated global market carry a greater risk of global recessions. And you can see from the period of 27 to the 29, financial crisis like Great Recessions is the good example of how intertwined global markets are and how financial problems are currently affect the country. And globalization reduces the ability of individual nation to effectively use the monetary and fiscal policy to control the national economy. Damage the culture. Okay, so critics about globalizations is about the culture damage as well, and how the language could be mixed, and you cannot maintain the good quality of your cultures anymore because of the mix, the fusions. So at the same time, the internet or social media are driving this train without the movement of people and commerce. And then negatively increase the likelihood of the pandemic. You can see like increase of the travel. You see what's happened to the flu virus or the coronavirus or H1N1 or the outbreak in 2019 and coronavirus in 2020, 2021, because the movement are so fast. So the transmissions of the virus is so fast as well. That's the reason why is the likelihood of the outbreak become like a bigger scale. So what company need to do in these areas of digitalizations of the era of evolution 4.0, 5.0? So you need to ask your business those questions. First, like, do your footprint and organization structure make sense in the more digitalized world? Because now people kind of try to find the standardized machines or standardized system where they can work and make the work more effectiveness. That's the reason why if your scale is not reaching to that level, you need to ask yourself again, thinking about new technology and thinking about new way of working, is that 5 days working hours per week is still making sense, or you can think about how to innovate that 4 working days, for example, and increase the productivity. Next one, should you offer one brand and one product line around the world, or you customize for the local market? This is always the big question whenever you want to invest in another country. Should you go with the local, or you still want to maintain the features of your own product? Think about McDonald's, like the companies expanded their branches on over the world, and how they can, like manage the quality of the food. They go with the local cuisine, or they still stick with all the cuisines from their home country, which is America. So think about this which way, because each business will have different features. Sometimes it's good to adopt the new culture, but sometimes it's good just to maintain your quality. Depends on the strategies and depends on the mission, vision, goals of the company. Next question is, do you have the right suppliers and customer channels? Globalization giving you more chances to access to more suppliers in the world and more customers to be able to buy your product. However, the supplier segmentation and customer segmentations need to be clarified more, because is that fit to what you produce, the service and product, is that fit to your standard, is that really provide the need for that particular group of suppliers or the customer? You need to question yourself, reflect back to the strategy, reflect back to your products and services, and then you can find the adjustment that's right enough to make the business progress. Next one, do you have the right access to compete digitally and globally? You may have a lot of resources around you. However, think about digitalizations and the coronavirus. How many businesses have to close down because they cannot flexibly adapt to the new scenario? So you need to often reflect back on your business model and asking yourself about the right asset. The assets here could be the people one, or could be the resources, the materials, or could be the strategy. So think about all of the assets in the whole and reflect back to the environment that you're currently working on. Is that the need to change for the current asset, or is that you have been using the wrong asset for the whole time? Think about that. Next one, are you ready for the new era of digitalized, accelerated global competition? You can see artificial intelligence, blockchain, machines, and then you can see all of the kind of like visual currency like crypto and things like that. There are plenty of digitalization stuff that's happening now today, and being in the business markets is become more fierce and no than the other one. That means you need to keep updated to make sure that you be competitive all the time. uh, Being stagnant for a while could lose your competitive edge due to the advanced technology. So, for example, some company nowadays in recruitment, they are using machine to scanning and skimming the CV. That's reduce the time or manually working on that, and it's increased the efficiency and effectiveness of working in the business and increase the performance in general. Can your business apply the same models? So think about how to evolve your current process, how to keep you updated with the new technology, and make sure that you still maintain the core product and service without losing your local taste. Next one, are you prepared for the new risk? We think about digitalizations and what are the risks could happen to business. And you can see like now today, people be aware more about privacy information, bias concerns, and things like that. So when you think about the new issues happen in the new world, you'll be able to plan ahead for your business. Should you have plan B all the time? Because in this case, people can may have different reactions if you, for example, implement the new technology in your business, or the competitor they implement the new technology. So either way, it could create a new competitive market. So you need to think ahead and how to manage the risk and how to mitigate them. And this is all of the question when globalization happened and you consider about the digitalization aspect of it. Okay, and the next lesson we'll move on to the learning objective 2. Thank you for your time.